Oh, hey, friends. It's
Oh,
Monday again. We did it.
someone didn't mute his cell phone.
Oops.
It was
Oops.
me.
Well, welcome. I'm Crystal. I did mute my cell phone. This is Tom.
You're
He
a
over here.
professional. I'm not a
He didn't.
professional. I'm not.
He didn't. He did not. He did not. Well, welcome back to our Monday night rewatch where we are not gonna watch anything tonight.
No, but we will be telling people what show won. And I think if anyone participated in the vote, they may be able to decipher it because it was a landslide.
Last Monday it was very close. It was very close last Monday, and then not at all.
And
Arosa.
I'm actually kind of interested to the demographics on Instagram, like the Dragon Mount followers on Instagram, the Dragon Mount followers on Twitter. Because the Dragon Mount, so like Instagram had Fallout winning, and Twitter had Avatar: The Last Airbender winning, and it was pretty close. Like for a little while, like you said, like maybe the first couple days, but like yesterday was when we took it down. Yesterday afternoon or something like that. And we it was a landslide. It was a landslide.
Yep.
Yep. Do you want to do the honors?
Sure. We are going to be watching Avatar: The Last Airbender book 3.
Yay!
And it will be Momo.
It's
It will
Momo.
be a true rewatch this time. I'm very excited. Very, very excited.
I'm very excited. I really enjoy Avatar so much. I was so happy when it, I mean, like it was the odds were pretty high. What's up, Arosa? That Avatar was going to win because it's like the most recent thing that we were watching and whatever. But like Fallout was pretty big. Like it's a huge show right now. So I figured maybe, but apparently not.
Maybe that'll be next time. I think people were just so excited about Avatar.
I am. I love Avatar. Avatar is just such a good like I tell people all the time how good the writing is, like especially like author friends of mine who have not watched it. I'm always like, you don't understand. You have to watch the show. It is so good. And like it's got like a master class in being able to tell a story that keeps both adults and children interested at the same time without doing one of those things like, and this is no hate on Shrek. I love the movie Shrek, like the original one. Where like, the jokes in Shrek, the thing that makes that fun for adults and children to watch is like the jokes that the adults get and like go over the children's heads. And the shticky kind of slapstick stuff that children like, they laugh at. But like the stuff that's in this is just funny to everybody.
It's so funny because it was not on my radar at all until we started watching it. And now it's everywhere. I was taking a friend's daughter home from school with me today. And I just she's like, what are you doing tonight? And so I just like briefly told her and she's like, you watched Avatar? She's like, where are you? How much of it have you seen? And it was all about it. She's like, oh, you had to wait weeks to find out what happened to Appa. I was like, yes, I know. Like she was so excited. She's like, okay, so when are you going to watch all of season 3? And I was like, very soon. I intended to last week. And she was like, okay, I want to talk to you as soon as you're done. And she's like, let me tell you now, you have to watch Legend of Korra. But I didn't like it as much. I can't wait to find out what you think. Yeah. I was like, this is just this little 12-year-old girl. So like, great. It was so fun.
Awesome. I love that. I love that so much.
So good.
Oh God, so good. I could just talk about it all day. All right. But we can't talk about just Avatar all day. We're going to talk about Avatar. We're going to talk a little bit about the other shows that were up in there: Fallout, Ahsoka, Stranger Things. There's a lot of fun stuff in all of those shows that kind of can easily be brought home to Wheel of Time references and themes that were in the books. But speaking of themes from the Wheel of Time books and other fun people, I have a couple of secret people that are sitting backstage that we didn't really say that we were going to have guests this week, but we made a couple of posts and they posted on Twitter of Time early today. So let's bring those beautiful folks in.
Look, here comes an awesome guest.
I told you I had a silly audio clip to play when you guys came in.
You're quite right. We couldn't miss
Very
that.
silly.
So the lovely Koala Sadai, all the way from down under. I'll never do it again. I promise. It's the only time I'll say it. In
It's really
Australia, and Scout, the Hobbit, Tranfear, for those who have watched or listened to the What Idol from last year. Which song did you write again?
Last year's song. So if those of you who do not recognize me from What Idol, my performer is Thirsty the Clown. Our last year's song was So Not Alive, but we're better known for our previous year's song, Woke of Time.
Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah. I forgot that you wrote Woke of Time. When you said So Not Alive this year, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I remember that.
The balloons.
But I forgot that you did Woke of Time. Oh God,
the balloons was not my genius. That was Thirsty.
I respect it. I respect it. Genius. I thought it was hilarious.
Genius.
I've had ideas for years, but I cannot sing for the life of me. So I probably will never do What Idol unless I get really drunk and still can, like, properly record things and do that correctly.
You need a drag clown to sing for you.
Oh, that's a great idea. True. Where can I get my own drag clown to
theater departments everywhere?
Oh God, this is why I love our community. So we have you lovely humans with us this evening for a specific reason other than just that you're awesome, you're Wheel of Time fans, and this is Dragon Mount is mostly a Wheel of Time fan website / content creation area, but we kind of branched out into other stuff during the pandemic because we didn't have a show for a long time, and then we learned that people like other stuff too and are willing to watch us talk about other things that we enjoy. So we started this nonsense now. But we're here to talk about a little project that you got going on that kind of exploded its funding on Kickstarter. And that's for those who've played Cards Against Humanity. You'll recognize this format here of the black cards and the white cards. And Koala, you tell me exactly how it's themed. I know it's Wheel of Time. I know it's fandom based, but like, what is the theming that is based around this this version of the game? Or Scout, whoever wants to answer, I guess.
Well, we'd love to tell you about it, but I want to start by saying that those words you use, that is the game that shall not be named, because
they're a little bit lawyers.
They're a little bit litigious.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's not anywhere near the same thing. It's just, you have black and white cards and they have black and white cards.
It's
and so
true.
Thousands of other games have black and white cards.
Our white cards are the question cards because they are for the questioners. And then the dark friend, the questioners are trying to find the dark friend that gave the darkest answer. So our black cards are dark friend cards, and there are blank fill in.
Okay. I used to play a version of this with friends of mine over the internet, and my favorite ones were always the write-in ones. What's up, Callie? What's going on?
Yeah. And what's funny is that that game that shall not be named, they didn't invent that game. So fill in the blank games have been around for a long time, and everybody's aware that I'm a little bit older than a lot of the people in the fandom. And when I was a teenager, that was one of my favorite shows, was a show called Blankety Blanks, which was obviously a Madland show, and I'm sure it didn't really make it overseas. But it was hilarious and it was very irreverent. And so, you'd have a host and we'd always have celebrities would be playing the answer cards. And, that so I kind of have this great history of memories of how it used to feel watching that. And so now to tie that kind of thing into the Wheel of Time has got us really excited. And I can see that you put a Kickstarter link into the chat. So as we're talking about what the card games are and how we started putting them together, I just want to make an announcement, and then Tom's got an extra announcement, that if we get 5 new backers while we're doing this live stream, everybody who's backed so far and everybody who backs during this live stream will get, and everybody in the future, in fact, will get a secret extra gift from us with the package. But we have to get 5 backers while the live stream's on for that to go off. And then, Tom, do you want to tell us about then the extra amazing offer that Dragon Mount has made through you?
Yes. So because, ADHD and Lisdexia, between like object permanence not being a thing and time blindness, I only thought of this like within the last hour. But we're going to do it anyway, because why not? And someone will win this and it'll be great. So if you back, and if you're following us on the social medias, it's probably up by now. But if you go to the Dragon Mount social medias, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, I'm sure it's posted there by now. My wife was on it, so I know she's good at that. If you back between now and midnight US Eastern tonight, everyone who backs next week, I'm going to put in a poll, and someone will win one of the very exclusive A Memory of Light backpacks that were given out during the A Memory of Light book tour. And I believe you had to go to Barnes & Noble to be able to win that. So there's not many of them left, and Tor sent us a bunch of them for Jordan Con to give away as prizes, along with some books. And we gave away most of the books, but I still have some backpacks to give away, and I want to give them to people. I like seeing them out in the wild, and I want to see people wearing them, especially at WatCon. And if anyone over in the EU is going to go to MalkirCon, I'd like to see one over there too. So feel free to let us know.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, like I don't know what it is. Like it sounds like a selfish thing. Like I just like how it feels, like giving away things to people. Like I like making people happy. That's why I love giving people presents on like birthdays and Christmas and other holidays and stuff like that. It's one of my favorite things. And for any Jewish followers or watchers today, one of my favorite things in the Jewish traditions is a mitzvah. And if anyone has ever heard of that, you'll know what that is if you follow the Jewish traditions. But that's basically doing something nice for someone else. But the only way to make it a mitzvah in the Jewish tradition is that no one knows about it. Like you do something like a charitable thing for somebody, but the less people that know about it, other than yourself and God, are the better. That's what makes it a mitzvah. So like it's supposed to be. That's what makes it unselfish and not a thing. You just you feel good and you put goodness out into the world, and that's one of the traditions that I've adopted into. My wife and I have our own cobbled together traditional things that we follow, from Celtic traditions, Nordic traditions, different Christian traditions, Jewish traditions, Hindu, everything. Like just things that we like from all the different traditional mythologies and religions, that we were like, I like this and I like that, and we'll do this, and we'll, everyone gets a little bit of love in our house. Out of all of them, though, I think the things that I like. That's good. See, there you go. Maybe we'll make a church. And we get tax exempt in the U.S. I don't know what the laws are over in Australia, but we'll see if we can make a church. We'll call it the Nerdic Traditions.
Yes.
I love it. I
I'll
love
join.
it.
One of my favorites though is the Celtic and like the fairy and Irish, like old Celtic things where, you know, they talk about the fairies and fairy circles, and it's very nature oriented, druidic religions. Have you guys ever heard about those or know anything about those?
No scant amounts, but I used to hang out with the Pagan Student Association all the time when I was in college, and that was a lot of fun. So I got to learn some stuff, but I'm no expert.
Okay, fair enough.
Good stuff.
We all like we pull from like the actual mythologies and traditions, but also I don't know if either of you have ever read the Dresden Files or there's another series called the Iron Druid Chronicles, which is very good. So two book suggestions for everybody if they're looking for urban fantasy books that are both funny and interesting: the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher and the Iron Druid Chronicles by Kevin Hearn. Fantastic.
It's funny. So many people have recommended the Dresden Files when I was at JordanCon. Like multiple people recommended those to me.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people recommend them. Yeah. And yet I haven't read them.
Mists of Avalon.
So much to read, so little time.
That's cool.
That's the problem. There's never enough time to read.
That's going on my to-be read pile. So we've already had a couple of backers according to the statistic, the people running the statistical numbers in the back. It's cool. Nice. By the way, she's running. So I don't know. Our goal was 5 additional backers. Do we want to up it? Like, do we want to up our game? Do I have anything else to give people? Like, what can we do? I don't know. What's your thoughts?
Well, we kind of already have a bit of a plan that if we reach our goal of 5 new backers, that we will do another stretch goal.
Okay. All right. And do you have, and you said it was a secret gift though. Is that the secret gift?
It's a secret gift. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, and the way that works, so our one is the way that works is that everybody who've already backed will get the secret gift, because we don't want, you know, people to think, oh no, I backed too early, because you can never back too early. Yeah. And that's why I was wondering if maybe those in the chat who've already backed would like to increase their tier levels, and that would that count as a new backer?
I think now that you mention it, it doesn't. I feel kind of mean. It feels kind of mean to offer this like, you know, it's kind of like cell phone companies where they offer this great bonus to people that sign up new, but they you know, the people that have been supporting them for years, they don't give them anything. So this is what we'll do actually. We're going to do 2 backpacks.
Okay.
2 backpacks. So everyone who has already donated, we'll do a drawing out of all of those people, and one of those people will win a backpack. And then everyone else who donates from tonight, those people will also win a backpack. So we'll give away 2, just because God. Again, just to frame how long this idea has been in my head. It's been less than an hour. So I would have thought of that had I had like 10 more minutes, but nope. So now at the very least, I'll have to ship 2 things. Sorry, Aaron, but we'll do 2 backpacks so that no one who has already backed feels left out. We want to send Wheel of Time love everywhere, all over the world. So let's get some more backers. Let's see how many we can get.
You are the best. The best. Absolutely. So that means if you've already backed, you're going to be in a draw, but that's a bigger draw. If you back during the show, you're in a smaller draw with a really big chance to win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there is an option on the Kickstarter, and I'll post another link to the Kickstarter again in chat. So if you've already backed, there is an option in the Kickstarter where you can go and like back for any dollar amount you want. So like, oh, I just want to support this project. I don't have a lot of money, or maybe I don't like card games, I don't like board games, or I don't like this game, but I want to support this project. You could donate any dollar amount you want. So that could also increase your odds of winning. Because maybe you could be in.
Yep. So we'll include those people in it. And if you're wondering, well, what would happen like if I just donate to the project? What Scout and I are really keen to do is to be able to give a full set of all the cards, and we'll describe the cards in a minute, and I'm going to let Scout do some of that, that we'll donate a set of all the cards to the WhatCon game room.
Ooh,
So, if so maybe you're coming to WhatCon, and you've spent all your money, coming to WhatCon, then you could throw in $5 or $10 or, whatever to just donate to help a set end up staying there in the game room. And that's going to be fantastic because we are going to be playing the game.
I'm going to play.
At WhatCon.
Sorry, I'm going to play the Kickstarter video while you go because it has your lovely face and art on the card there. So I'll just play that as we go.
Mhm.
And those cards that you can see there are the cards of time from season 1. So they're really different to what we're looking at in this Kickstarter, except that yes, there is a season 2 set of the cards of time as well, of course, because there had to be. And I will be giving them away. So I'll probably print around 2,500 of them to give away for free at WhatCon. And they are a trading card set. So the idea of that is, there you go, there's Blankety Blanks that I used to watch. Yay! I wonder if anybody recognises any of those people. I bet they don't. I remember them all. So funny. So I'll be giving those away. And the idea is that you are collecting and trading those cards while you're at the con. And, a lot of us feel quite nervous about being somewhere like a con. And I know that I'm really introverted. People think maybe I'm not, but I actually am. It's really different for me to sit here than it is for me to stand in a room with 200 to 300 people in it. Totally different situation. So I found that having these cards in my hand gave me this is just my own anxieties, right? It gave me what felt like a legitimate reason to walk up and just talk to all these people that I didn't know. But what it also does is gives other people that feel that way a legitimate reason, because they've got doubles of cards now and they're going to be looking to trade. So it's a great way of just, you can see someone else and they've got cards in their hand. Well, you can go over and talk to them and what did you get? Do you want to trade anything? So I didn't actually have any idea how popular it was going to be until I got there and the excitement started to go mad. And I was just like, it worked. So that's been look at the look on Elf Witch's face there and look at Maria, right?
Oh, yeah.
So there's Maria, and she's sorting her cards out. There was some real competitiveness that went on. It got hilarious. The closer we got to the end of the con, the more desperate people were to finish their trading. And if you're coming to WhatCon and you have season 1 cards and you didn't finish your set, bring them. Because
Absolutely.
people will be able to still, if they all bring their season 1 cards, you'll be able to keep trading. And maybe you'll even be able to trade some of them for some season 2 cards. And we just had a backer jump in. Yay! So I can actually see that ticking over live in the background. Woohoo! So thank you. Somebody has just jumped in and backed. You are at the moment, you're the one who's going to win that backpack. So if you want that backpack for backing during the show today, you better get in now, because otherwise someone's just won it. Ooh, how's that?
And they won't know until next week. That's the pull.
And they won't know.
To come back for next week's show too.
It is a great pull to come back for next week. Yeah. Yeah.
Show business. By the way, this is the backpack that we're talking about.
It's so beautiful. I love it. Pity I can't back my own project.
I was gonna say, I want a backpack.
I know, right?
Well, if you go to WatchCon, I'm sure there will be some more to give away there. They sent us a rather large box full of backpacks. So I do have
so beautiful.
Nice.
I would say in the vicinity of like 10 to 15 more that I can give away. So I'm going to be bringing them with me to WatchCon as well to give away. So
that's so beautiful. So Scout, would you like to tell people like how it is that you and I ended up getting in on this whole journey that we've just been on for the last year?
So basically it was just we were playing a lot of you had games to play with the season 1 Cards of Time, including Uno's Eye Patch and Julian's Mice and Figs. I don't think I ever played Uno's Eye Patch, but I played a lot of Mice and Figs, which is an adaptation of Egyptian Rat Screw, but with rules like, for instance, you slap if those characters were in a canonical relationship. The rule had to be canonical, or we could argue all day. Or an Aes Sedai and a warder were played on top of each other. So we played a lot of that. And while we were talking, I had mentioned that I had been writing down random ideas for fill in the blank Watt card games, and Koala said, "Oh, I've been thinking about doing that." And then next thing I know, I've been included as a mod in a Discord, and the rest is history.
Speaking of the Discord, I posted it in chat, but I'm going to post it again just in case. That is the link to the Cards of Time Discord, if anyone wants to jump in there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So how did you guys discover Wheel of Time too? Let's go back to the beginning of this whole project, and that's your discovery of Wheel of Time. Where did you guys find that?
Do you want to go first?
Sure. I have a slightly different backstory maybe to some people, because it was actually my oldest daughter who introduced me to the Wheel of Time. So she had finished school and gone to university. And the first time I came to visit her with my younger daughter, Tari, who everybody who was at WatCon last year got to meet Tari. We went to visit my older daughter, and she handed me the Eye of the World, and I still have that beloved battered old copy. And she said, "Mum, I think you'll like this." And, well, the rest is history. So Tari was 13 at the time, and she started reading and fell in love with them straight away as well. And it was funny because we didn't actually, and that was in the year 2000.
I was going to ask. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. And we didn't actually talk a lot about the books because she was such a young teenager, and she was just like, not even land. And I was just like, oh, those freaking kids need to just do what Moraine tells them.
That's fair. So I'm guessing you kind of gravitated toward maybe Nynaeve and Moraine and Lan early on.
Do you know what? I actually was not much of a fan of Nynaeve in my early reads. Okay. I love Nynaeve, so don't get me wrong. But
I wasn't either, so
as a mother of teenagers, I was really, I totally got where Moraine was coming from, and those kids were just like, I had 4 kids, and nearly all of them, nearly all of them were teenagers. My youngest son would have been about 11. Wow. So, it was like, I get it, dragging all those kids around and the way they're behaving. And I really felt that Nynaeve was quite a bully. And one of the things that I think I disliked most about Nynaeve was I identified too much with her anger and her just the way the way she was treated, and therefore felt like she had to use a lot of anger and physical force to get her way, which is why I love her arc so much. But I think that also Perrin was one I was really drawn to, because I've always, you all know I'm a bit of an environmentalist kind of person, and I've always loved animal magic. That's always been a big love. So I was really drawn towards that whole, wolf whispering whole thing, and loved that. So yeah, and he's still one of my favorites.
Are there any of the bad characters, any dark friends or villains that you like to read? Maybe you're not rooting for them, but they're more fun to read than others, or anything like that?
Definitely Grendel. I always enjoyed reading Grendel stuff. And I enjoyed reading Leandrin's stuff because she just brought out so much hatred for her, that it was, because there's nothing worse than being just like completely, I couldn't care less about a character. Any strong reaction is a good reaction.
That's fair. I've grown to love Leandrin a bit more since the show has come out because of Kate. Like, Kate is amazing as Leandrin,
isn't she?
Oh god! So now I just see her. So now I kind of like Leandrin more now that I see her sister Strongjaw on our in my head when I read it now.
Exactly.
What about
it's like you can't read. It's like you can't read Leandrin without seeing show Leandrin, and it totally changes Leandrin. Like, wow.
It's the same. That's the same for me with Moiraine now. Moiraine just is Rosamund Pike now for me.
All of the characters for me, actually. I and I love Rosamund narrating the books because it's like Moiraine telling you the story around a campfire,
Oh yeah.
It's like,
Fun fact, I don't know, I mentioned this last week actually. Did you know that so Rosamund's reading the books obviously, and then there's they have a director usually that's doing it, just if they're making a movie or whatever. The person who's directing it is Rosamund Pike's mother.
Yeah, because she's an opera singer. And that's cool. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. And I haven't heard anyone ask her about what has that dynamic been like, but I'd love to hear her talk about that. I'm sure she's got great stories, her being in show business, her mom being, a stage performer, and then, working together like this with all of their backgrounds. I'm sure there's probably fun, interesting stories, as well as, just mother-daughter fun stories. But what about you, Scott? How did you discover Wheel of Time / what's the evil character that you like to read?
Okay, yeah. Well, I'll start with how I discovered it. A friend of mine, Daniel, who is Alexiel on Discord. He's not as active lately because he got married, but he's been into the books forever. And I always knew that it'd be something that would probably be in my wheelhouse of things that I'd enjoy, but it's just such a commitment that I never got around to it. And a few years ago, I was working on my PhD, and I promised Daniel when I finish my dissertation, I'll read The Wheel of Time. So that was in I want to say 2020, 2021, late 2020. Wow. And it took me about a year to read them. And I actually finished just before the first WatCon. So good timing. Yeah, it was really good timing. And it's I've commented to a lot of people. It's interesting. I especially am fascinated having conversations with people who have been reading these books since their youth, because a lot of people talk so much about how their rereads evolved, and I only have the experience of reading it post PhD. So like post, I read everything from a critical discourse perspective. So I was dissecting the gender dynamics, for instance, from Jump, and most people were not when they were reading it in middle school. So it's very, very interesting to have those conversations. And I did have a little bit of a head start though on the magic system, because that friend had been talking about, we discuss fantasy and like world mechanics all the time. So I've heard him talk about the world mechanics of Wheel of Time for a long time. So I got a little bit of a head start on already understanding some of the foundational mechanics before I started. That some people did not have. Oh, and I'm watching the series with my mother, who has not read the books, and that's been a really cool experience. A very high rewatch value, honestly, for both of us. I catch all kinds of stuff I didn't catch the first time, but especially her, who doesn't like something will happen with like channeling something, and I'll go ooh, and she'll be like, I don't know what you're reacting to.
So if there's one thing us Wheel of Time fans can do, it's talk about the Wheel of Time to no end. So not surprising that that friend of yours talked your ear off on it before you ever read it. But the one thing that has been great for me about the incoming new fans, like since the show has picked up steam, well, actually, the one thing that I've really liked about since the show picking up steam is the incoming new fans, because just like you said, it's so interesting and fun to talk to people that have such a different perspective on it from the beginning. And also, and I know Crystal feels this way, and I'm sure, Koala, like you've been reading it for a while now too, having spoken to the majority of the people like for 20 years, like everyone that's been like, I have been involved with Dragonmount, Tarvalon.net, and JordanCon for a very long time. So like I've talked to all of these people for 20 years about the Wheel of Time. I've heard everything you people have to say. I want to hear, like I've talked to Jason and Matt and like a lot of the people that are on those websites. One of the people who I love very much, Jeff Bernard, aka Hopper, on all of the stuff. He's a great dude. He runs the charity events over at JordanCon, and other, of the more active people in those things. But having new blood coming into the fandom has just been fantastic. Hearing, I'm actually enjoying going to like Wheel of Time panels again at conventions. Just listening to people talk. It's a lot of fun for me. Actually, you know what, Crystal, I don't know if I know how you found the books. Actually,
really, I swear we've talked about this.
I don't remember.
Maybe not. So it was in 2001. I was a staunch anti-fantasy person back then. I was not going to read. The closest I got was like Stephen King. And we had a big ice storm here in the Midwest. And so we packed up our cats because we had no power and went to our friend's house who loved to read. And I took, my books with me, my non-fantasy books, and I read them in like the first 36 hours we were there. The power was out for an entire week. And I was like, I need something to read. And he put the first 3 books down in front of me. And I was like, absolutely not. No, this is not. Absolutely not. But then the power's out. There's nothing to do. And I was like, fine. And yeah, by the end of book 1, I was completely hooked. I've been obsessed ever since. And he takes credit for it to this day because it changed everything. Like it changed what I read, what I wrote, like changed everything about me as a person and is very much part of my identity. So what I've loved about the show is now like people know what the hell I'm talking about. Oh, like the references and the things that I say make sense to other people, which never happened before. Now, it's amazing. Scout, I'm watching with my mom. My mom started watching the show when it came out, and she's never been a book reader. And now she's picked up the books. She keeps trying to steal my companion because she wants to know like what's going on and asking questions. It's so fun. I begged her for years, for like 15 years, 20 years to read these books. And she's like, absolutely not. Then she saw the show and was like, okay, I'm coming. Here I go.
My mother keeps thinking, should I try reading the books? And like we have them on Kindle. So she's like, maybe I should start reading the first one, and then she remembers there's 14 of them, and she's like, maybe not. But she is a big reader. She does love to read. It's just a lot. And she saw me read. When I was first reading them, I was borrowing my friend Daniel's books, which are very, very battered. Most of them are paperbacks, and even the paperbacks are like that big. And I would have to tape his books because he has books that like broke down the middle, and he was like, "Oh, this is easier now. I have 2 smaller books." Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly like that.
Oh yeah,
exactly like that. And I had to Google some of the covers because his covers had fallen off on some of them.
Well, you know what? And actually, that's not the worst thing in the world. Don't get me wrong. The art is beautiful. It's just not like the greatest representation of the Wheel of Time, the original book cover.
I love Lesbi Nerdy's book cover where she looks up all of the versions of book covers she can find and rate them. And I have arguments with my screen when she's rating them, even though I know she can't hear me.
So one of the lovely things that I got access to when I joined with Dragonmount was Jason sent me like a gigantic. So that's Jason Denzel. He's the founder and perpetuator. I don't know, mayor. I don't know, whatever of Dragonmount, and now Tor author as well of the Mystic series. Go buy them, check them out. Anyway,
wonderful books.
Yes, they are very good. It has a really cool magic system I like. Anyway, before I go off on another tangent, he sent me a gigantic file of assets, like pictures and images, and in that file was a ton of Wheel of Time alternate covers and things like that, and some of them, oh boy, are pretty terrible. Particularly here, and I'll show a couple of them only because there's a lot of them. But I'll show some of the ones that I hate, and then some of the ones that I like, and tell me if you guys have seen them. So some of them are the old French covers that just look ridiculous. Like I don't even know what they are. And then some of them are they made in Japan. They made a manga like back in the day, and it was really actually pretty cool. I didn't know they made a manga until not a flex. It's just a story. We got invited to Robert Jordan's house when I went to an event in Charleston, and in his library he has all of the Watt books from around the world, and that's where
Isn't that bookshelf amazing?
Yeah. I saw like a stack of books, and anyone who reads manga, like manga has like a specific, there's usually like a particular binding and like number system and like wording that like, oh, that's a manga. And I was like, are those manga? And like Harriet was like, yes, actually they are in Japan. I was like, what?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
We got to, Tari and I, last year when we came over to WhatCon, we went to Charleston for 5 days before coming to Ohio. And we got to go and meet Harriet and Maria at the house and have a tour around the house and some time with them. Harriet was so generous with her time. And we spent 3 days in the library trawling through notes, which was a real dream. It was just fantastic.
Awesome. Harriet, that's another thing. Like, not only is the fandom itself, like all of you guys and the community great, but like the reason why like the Wheel of Time fan community has been so active and around for so long is because of the attention that Bandersnatch Group, which is Robert Jordan and Harriet's like corporation, how active they've been in it. So like, obviously Robert Jordan and Harriet and Maria and Alan Romanchik were very active when Robert Jordan was around. And he early on, before considering sending a cease and desist to Jason at Dragonmount, kind of sent a letter kind of adopting them almost like them. Dragonmount and Tarvalon.net were 2 of the first Wheel of Time like fan websites. And Harriet and Robert Jordan adopted them pretty early on, and eventually Robert Jordan used Dragon Mounted as his personal blog, and like that's where people went when they wanted updates from Robert Jordan before and after he was sick. And then since then, Harriet has been very, very active in the community up until she's like 88, 80, 89.
Yeah, she's even older than me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like she doesn't, get around to these conventions and stuff anymore. No. It's difficult for her. So, she puts as much attention into it as she can. She does participate. She joined our marathon.
She's amazing.
She's done other people's shows. Maria's everywhere.
Yeah, Maria. Oh, love Maria to pieces. Yeah.
She was volunteering at JordanCon.
Does anybody else have able to boast 3 generations of Wheel of Time readers in their family? Because my older daughter, who gave me my first copy of Eye of the World, her oldest daughter is 14 now and has read the whole series.
That's awesome.
Wow!
So I've been able to have conversations with my 14-year-old granddaughter about the book series that I love the most. So that is like beyond awesome.
That's great.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
There, the only thing I could think of close to that pops to my head is Beth Doman. For people watching, she
do be Beth.
Yes, the Beth Doman. She's currently streaming, I think, on Twitch right now. She plays a lot of video games mostly, but she participates on our talk shows often enough. Her mother and her daughter were all watching the Wheel of Time together, which I thought was
that's gorgeous. Yeah. That's gorgeous.
I'm having a tough time finding these pictures in my mess of a hard drive, but I'll find them and then throw them up randomly at some point.
Sure. Did we manage to talk about what the difference is between the 3 sets of cards that are up on the Kickstarter?
I don't think we have.
So let me pull up the Kickstarter and we can scroll through it, and then you can just kind of talk about what everything is on there. That I was going to do that, and then I got distracted looking up pictures. And
I know there's so many fun things to do.
All right, so here we are currently. We've gone up in backers since this started. I know it wasn't 30 before, so now it's 30, so that's fun.
Yep.
So we got, let's see, we have our supporters make a pledge, any amount that you want, just to donate, because Koala and Scout are awesome. And then we have the fandom expansion pack is the first one that I'm seeing here. So,
interesting. Usually it lists the show one first. That's interesting, or maybe it doesn't. So we have 3 sets. The fandom expansion is all people who are active in the fandom, like content creators, like you, and fandom in jokes, and that's a 500 card set.
Only 500?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, only 500. Sorry.
And then we have 3 sets of the fill in the blanks. The game total is called Questioners Seeking Dark Friends. So the fandom expansion pack is one of them, and it's these are where our we do semi-parody. Parody is protected under free speech, by the way. Some other games, and the fandom expansion is called Content Taints Jordanity. And then we also have a non-spoiler show set that if you've only watched the show, then there's no spoilers in there. And that's listed, I think, as show only set. Yep, show only set. And it's called Cards of Prime Amazonity. And it's also a 500 card set. And then also, as you're scrolling through, before we get to the 3rd set, there's actually 2 versions of each one of these tiers. There's a free pickup if you're going to WotCon, or if you have friends going to WotCon, we highly encourage that option. And then there's also a shipping, and we'll have to calculate and add on shipping later for the people who cannot arrange a WotCon pickup. So if you want it to be shipped, select a shipping tier. But if you are either going to WotCon or can arrange a pickup, then select. We encourage you to select one of the WatCon tiers, and you can really select any box, any tier, because everything is available as add-ons. So if you want, for instance, if you want everything, just pick one that has your preferred pickup or shipping option, and then just add on whatever you want, because they're all available as add-ons. And the third set, the book spoiler set, which is a 1,000 card set, unsurprisingly, it's the biggest. It's the name of this set is Cadswing Against Watt Fanity. We do like puns here.
I love them, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and then there are also additional add-ons. Koala, do you want to talk about the additional add-on options?
Love to. So the add-ons are only available if you actually get some of the questioner cards. Now, these add-ons, I need to make this really clear. These are things that are not for sale. But if you would like to just pay the cost of printing, then you can have these things as an add-on. So one of the really exciting add-ons is the set of cards that I accidentally made. So we got this Discord up and running, and conversations got happening in there. And as these conversations do with nerds, all of a sudden there was these ideas being thrown around about making a set of Matt Bloody Cawthon classic gambler decks. And just because I am such a busy person, I took on an extra task before I'd known what I was doing. And so Tom, I think did I give you an image of them? I'm not sure if I did or not. I might not
playing
have
cards, but with maps.
So yeah, if not, I can try and throw them in as I'm talking. So what happened was I've made a regular playing card set. Yeah, no, I might not have, so I'll fix that for you. Okay. I made a regular playing card set, but what we did was we made them a matte themed set. So this means we made up the suits for this set, so that what you have is the 4 suits that we have are goblets, dice, daggers, and horns. Then instead of an ace card having an A on it, like most ace cards have on it, the ace card is a matte card, so it has an M on it, and I just sent you that image, Tom.
Okay.
And then we had to make 3 face cards, so instead of Jack, Queen, and King, we have Gambler, Lord, and Heroes. And instead of the Jokers, the idea of this card, the original idea of this card, was you could play a variation of Old Maid. Does anyone remember the card game Old Maid? And it would be called Damn Prick. So that means that you would have to remove one of the Jokers, because the Jokers are actually the Damn Prick cards. And I made a Donald Damn Prick card and a Barney Damn Prick card. So you can choose your card that you would leave in. So, yep, there's an image of what the cards all look like. So there's a gambler card instead of a Jack card. That's the Gambler of Goblets. And that means that you can play any regular card game with them, because they follow, the way a card game plays. And the back of the card, which doesn't show there, I created a beautiful graphic from the carpet in the WatCon hotel, because if anyone has been there, you'll know that they have gorgeous carpets there with amazing patterns. So that's one of the add-ons, is you just pay the printing price. I'm not making anything on them. And I might just note too, Scout and I are not going to be millionaires after the end of this campaign either.
Well, the only ones. Oh, go ahead. Yep. The only ones that have any upcharge whatsoever is we added literally just a few dollars onto the Questioner Seeking Dark Friend sets.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is probably going to paying for printing of our own decks rather than paying out of pocket for the decks that we made.
There you go.
But the season 2 cards or the season 1 reprints and the damn prick cards are all printed exactly at cost. They're not being sold, they're paying for the printing. Yeah. So it's and of course season 2 will be available for collection. So you could always try your hand at collecting a set if you're at WotCon.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a great point. So the mat cards are one of the add-ons. Another add-on is if you didn't get all of the season 1 cards of Time and you would like to just pay the printing price and have a set of them, then you can pay to have them printed. Last year with the season 1 cards, as Scout was talking about it earlier, I also made that game deck based on the Uno game, and we call that Uno's Eye Patch. Really hoping to play that this year at WotCon with Guy Roberts. That would be like just ridiculous fun.
That would be fantastic.
And it has fun cards in it, like Uno's Eye Patch. And there's only one Bella because she's the creator, and Land's butt.
Butt rock.
Yes.
Yeah, the butt rock's in there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if you wanted a set of them, then as an add-on, you can just pay the printing price, have a set of them. Or if you just want the season 2 cards rather than taking, your chance at collecting and trading the whole set. Because like I said, I'll be printing about 2,500 of those cards to simply give out during WotCon, which is the general set, and there will be the limited edition set. And for doing this for us today, there will be a limited edition Dragon Mount card that will be very hard to collect because they will be a limited edition. Yeah.
That's exciting. That's fun. I love, I mean, like, have you, like, you said you didn't realize how, like, competitive it was going to be. Have you ever played any kind of nerd card collecting games like Magic the Gathering or any of those games like that?
No, I was raising 4 children while that was all really popular, So, but my children were right into, all of the, what's Pikachu from?
Oh, Pokemon.
Yeah. They were right into collecting all the my youngest son just sold all of his Pokemon cards a couple of years ago, and he had a beautiful collected set of them. So I got to watch them enjoying collecting a lot of the stuff that, as a parent, you guys know it. As a parent, you don't spend that money on yourself.
That's fair. I mean, well, that just says that you definitely weren't a Magic the Gathering player, because like those people are a different breed. Yeah, I mean, and so Scout, you've seen some people at Magic the Gathering tournaments. Doesn't matter if they're parents; they will spend all of their money on Magic cards.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and it's even worse now that they've made like the what's the extra rare. I stopped playing before they got the.
Me too. I haven't played since the 90s.
Yes,
I had legendary rare or something like that. I don't remember. But no
nerds and collectible card games are. Don't get us around any of them. It doesn't.
Actually, I'm pretty sure I'm the one who started the Cards of Time table for trading, and I was particularly. I think I was, and it came down to like the last card I didn't have was Moraine. So anytime I left the table, I was like telling like Trian and Noman Garden, if a Moraine comes up, you have to defend it for me. I eventually did get all of the main set. Was speaking to the rarity of the special cards. I only got 2, maybe 3 of that. I have to go back and count, but I did not get more than 3 of those special cards. I bought an Uno's Eye Patch deck, so I had all of those. But for the regular base set, I did manage to collect all the characters, but I didn't get very many of the special edition cards.
I'm sad.
No, because they were limited. And this year, again, we ran, This year again, there are in the limited edition cards are the winners from the WhatCon photo competition from last year, and the entries were just so amazing last year that we awarded 5 limited edition cards to that. So that the limited edition cards sort of have quite a few just really fun fandom things in them, rather than straight up show things in them. But of course they're show themed because everybody, most of the people in the photo competition were doing cosplay. So it's really fun to see them, end up on a card.
That's awesome. Yeah. And now I'm extra sad. So I was sick at WhatCon this past year and I didn't get to go. Like I went, but I left early because I tested positive for COVID and I did not want to give anyone COVID. Yep. But now I'm extra sad because I didn't get to participate in the Cards Against Timetable at all.
In the hilarity, yep. And then we were game playing every night, and we were so noisy because we remember Scout. We instigated the extra rule that if land came up, you had to yell "butt rock."
That's right,
and all the rest of it. So
it was a lot of fun.
I wonder, like you got to think that Daniel Henney probably finds it endearing and a little creepy that we lust after him so much. But probably. I kind of want to ask. Oh, by the way, I did find the 2 examples of cover art. So
great.
This is one of the French ones. I don't know what book it's the cover art of. I translated the French. It just means the horn of a leer.
I need you to send me that. I have a limited edition card coming.
That's great. That's wonderful. Oh man, that's a different kind of butt rock. Oh man, yeah. So I feel like if someone bought this book solely on the cover art, they're going to be disappointed.
It's true.
And then an example of one that I actually kind of like is this is one of the mango ones.
Oh, beautiful.
I don't know what book this is for. I'm guessing it says 2 on it, so maybe it's The Great Hunt. And Lanfear / Celine, spoiler alert. But that's I love the art on this thing. The manga art is freaking awesome. But yeah, there's a lot. I'll send you. Don't worry. Remind me because I'll forget between now and when we finish the show. But send me a message on Discord and remind me to send you some of the images.
I will.
I'll send you a bunch.
I will. Oh, I want that so badly.
It's all yours. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, that's funny. A different butt rock. Now you have multiple butt rocks to
I know.
I mean, Daniel Henney will always be the best, but
my immediate thought was that's why they did that on the show. That's a callback to that image, right?
That's a deep cut for
that's a deep cut. Honestly, those writers for the show, they did not miss a thing, right?
Absolutely
Every time, because I re-listen to the books kind of quite constantly, and every book re-listen, we'll just get to one little bit and I'll just go, wait a minute. Thank you, Noman Garden. And I'll just think, hang on, there it is. There's the flip. I see that bit in the show was a flip on this bit in the because that's one of the things I love. That if you didn't know, I'm a show lover to pieces. But one of the things I love the most about the show is the way they actually flip either instances in the book or which characters it's happening to. I think that they do that in such a clever way that sometimes you don't realize it, but you know that it fits. But it fits because it's actually such a deliberate sort of little flip. A good friend of mine, Rapunzel, a lot of people know her because she's really active. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She's really active in the community. I'm sure she won't mind if I tell you that this is something she just said to me this morning, that she was listening to The Dragon Reborn, chapter 25, And what happened was that Egwene thinks about how Joya had been her daughter's name and says to herself, "You never had a daughter. It wasn't real." And the callback to her grabbing Nynaeve and saying it wasn't real, it was just like, bam, there you go. How, those writers they don't miss a single thing. And I thought that was just, that was beautiful. I was just like, whoa, yes.
We had the opportunity to interview a couple of them. I mean, obviously,
yes, I saw those.
But also Rami Park, who started, I believe, like the first thing that she did with the show was she was directing those. Forgot what they called them, the extras, the little cartoon extra things that they did, the behind the
scenes.
Yeah, but it was like, they were like lore drops, but I forgot what they called them.
Yeah, behind the scenes.
Yeah. The
no, they weren't. They were the origin. Oh no,
origins. That's it. Yeah,
origins. The origins. Yeah.
And don't forget the season 2 coming in August. But August of what year?
This is one of our fan set cards.
Yeah. Of course, we have an August card.
Yeah. Of course. But yeah, we interviewed her when they were just starting the writing for season 2, which she was joining the writer's room on for that as well. And she wrote a couple and directed, I believe, a couple of the episodes in season 2 as well. And she was great. She was absolutely great. By the way, in case you don't know, Gnomen Garden is our resident encyclopedia of knowledge of just everything, really. Like
everything.
Whenever
fantastic.
Loses
like
a word
Mashadi,
or something, he's got me.
He's like Mashadi, who's the fact checker Mahale.
Yeah. Another great person, Morshadi. Man. So I want to, before we get too far away from it, tagging onto the one of the things that you said about how clever they are with the writing in the show. That has been one of the things I've been most excited about from the beginning. It's one of the things I've been saying over and over again since they announced the show, was that for us who have read The Wheel of Time over and over and over and over again, and being able to be surprised by new Wheel of Time content again has been so exciting and so much fun. And seeing how, like, we know a lot of the story beats that are going to happen. Like, we knew when the show came out, we know Rand is the Dragon Reborn. Again, spoiler alert. But the way they did it in the beginning was very clever in that, I could see how they're trying to disguise it for people who have never read the books, and how they're marrying into the story and the lore things that were developed way throughout the entire series, not just when the first book came out. That's so kind of getting back to what you were saying, Scout, earlier. Not only are people that are discovering Wheel of Time, the books, for the first time now, and watching the show for the first time now, having a whole different perspective on things because of the information that they have personally and, worldly wise, just where we are as a society. But the writers for the show also had a vast wealth of knowledge available to them that Robert Jordan didn't even have when he wrote the first book. And that's all 14 books.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So there, like a lot of us, most people know that he didn't really retcon things, but there are things that happen in the first and second book with, mechanics of the One Power and some characters and things like that kind of evolve in a way that you maybe either never see them again, or they change and they don't work in the same way they did early on. And Rafe and the team don't have to do that. They have the gift of having the full scope of the world in front of them, and they get to take all of that information and essentially rewrite the story in a new turning of the wheel. And I've been most excited for that, just to see what they do, because we know where it's going to go. We know Rand's going to be the dragon. We know so-and-so is going to happen. We know that Forsaken are going to get loosed and they're going to have to do this, but how are they going to do it? How are we going to get from point A to point B? And that's been the most fun for me.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that Master of the Decks What Idle entry last year demonstrated how well Yosha has portrayed everything we know about Rand just in season 1, because the way she used that imagery from season 1 and yet covered the whole story arc, and it was like every element is there. Yosha, is doing it. And that was before we even got to see him in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've seen that next layer. And I don't know if you all saw that video that John from What Up did last week, where he talks about that he was doing it as a leak that Yosha is going to be playing all of his ancestors when he goes through the glass columns.
That would be fun.
And so we're going to just see so much more of him. Yeah. And I think that makes perfect sense, because imagine trying to hire all of those actors for every generation, get them right into, the world that they've built, and get them to play that really short part and be gone would be really difficult. But yeah, I can't remember who it is that said it recently, but in Rafe we trust.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trust.
I agree. I totally agree with that. He's been reading the series since he was a kid with his mother, and then Sarah Nakamura also behind him. Those two people, people who have been not just fans of the series, but grew up with it, and have that deep respect and love for it. Having a hand on the tiller as well is it shows, and it shows in the small little tidbits like that. Things that either have to be changed or can't be included, but they drop little nuggets in there for the people that want to see those things.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that I've been attempting to do a scene-by-scene breakdown of the show. It's taking a long time, because I end up talking for half, 3/4 of an hour about each scene. So it takes a long time. But yeah, the idea of it is to show how every single scene reflects somewhere in the books, and I haven't found one yet that doesn't. Rapunzel's here.
Hey, we were just talking about you. We summoned her. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will say,
Rapunzel, I hope you don't mind. I was actually told everybody that little nugget that you picked up and shared with me on Discord earlier.
Nuggets. I saw a Winner's Lady post in there in the Nynaeve's test, where we get some of Robert Jordan's language, and it sounds very poetic on screen, and kind of wishing we could have more. I would almost argue that his language is too poetic. It works so well in the ritual scene, but it's almost Shakespearean. And this world needs to be, this medium, the film medium needs to be so efficient. It needs to take pages of Robert Jordan's really beautiful prose and compact it into a short line of dialogue or an unspoken glance. And I think they've done that really well with some of these short lines and some of these unspoken moments, which again is why some of the footage works so well. I do admit I miss it, but I also think they're doing a really good job of playing to the strengths of the medium that they're in.
Yeah.
And finding those moments like the ritual to keep some what they can.
Yeah, and then having the book there to be another mirror to go and look in and see it from that different perspective is great too. The little ways that they show those deep, detailed things with the way the characters act toward one another. Specifically, what comes to mind is Lan and Moiraine's relationship on screen when they're private, when it's just the two of them, versus when they're public, when anyone else is around, really. But you can even see differences depending on who's around. But when they're private, they're much more relaxed. Yeah. They're open. They smile. They have emotions, and there was a lot of critiquing on that. Lan's supposed to not show him. Lan, first of all,
it's not how Lan works.
Like getting rid of the toxic masculinity that's built up around that. We can put that aside. It's obvious that it's there, but like that would be boring to watch if you just watched a dude on screen like
Absolutely.
just completely stoic all the time. And also you wouldn't know.
And it was Rand's point of view.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
what Rand saw.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I'm always saying, but that is exactly Lan. Like Daniel is playing exactly Lan. The man was a fucking poet.
Oh yeah. You heard the thing. You've cultivated flowers where I brought stone and dust for years. Like he was a poet. Like he was, yeah.
Absolutely. Rand, obviously, Nynaeve was seeing a totally different person when they were sneaking off at nighttime and having their little trysts in the book. Yep. Obviously, there's that thumbs up. Obviously, she was not seeing that stoic Warder who was going to keep these kids in line and back up everything Moraine said. You know, he was deliberately showing Rand and the other boys a particular personality that they needed to feel in awe of and feel they couldn't have, you know, that was what the Warder needed to be. And Nynaeve was seeing the real Lan. And we didn't see a lot of him because Robert Jordan didn't write romance well. So we saw enough snippets. And so I'm thankful we didn't see more of him because maybe he would have, you know, wrecked it a bit. But we saw enough snippets to know that actually Lan was a much more rounded person than what Rand saw. And it's something I love in the show too, is that it's also like nearly every scene we see it from somebody else's point of view than whose we saw it from in the books. And so therefore it looks different because, you know, I've got a brother and a sister and we seem to have really different memories of a lot of things from when we were kids.
Yep.
Right.
That's not to get too far off topic, but that's a great thing that Avatar: The Last Airbender does as well. So it's a perfect segue. So the two of the main characters, well, one of them's more of a main character than the other, but he starts as a antagonist and has worked himself toward protagonist now going into season 3 of the show. His name is Zuko. He's the Prince of the Fire Nation. Quick backstory.
No spoilers for me who hasn't watched it yet. Yeah, good.
Yeah, very light spoilers. Like you find this person out. He's in episode 1. He's got a deep, fun, rich, great backstory. But they both, him and his sister, are both in the show, and they grew up with the same toxic parents in a bad environment. But it shows they're a great example of what two different people experience with the same childhood trauma, and how people can you know bring it in very different ways, and how the people around them really affect that, and it was it's beautifully done in the show, absolutely beautifully done. Also, I want to, if you do watch it, you'll be able to pick it out. There's an episode that is almost like line for line the retelling of the Manetheren story. Is the exact story of a myth. They're not mythological. They're real people that it's like a folklore story that they tell of the founding of a city, and it's literally Manetheren. It's the story of Aemon and the queen. I can't remember her name.
You're just reeling me in, aren't you?
It really is. It absolutely 100% is. Like the husband dies, and the wife unleashes her power and erects a city instead of destroying a city, and they're two lovers, and they're at war. It's very almost the exact story of Manetheren. So. Watch it. It's fantastic. But anyway,
okay.
I wouldn't mind a rewatch. I'd watch it with you.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing. That's our season 3 is going to be our rewatch. And Koala, just as another selling point, they're 22-minute episodes, so it's not like
they go fast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that can really help because do you know what? I don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, it's like 4 hours. Like each season is like a little less than 4 hours or a little more than 4 hours long. Very, very short.
Right. Okay.
When I was looking at the vote online, like all of those I think would be great shows. But as I was looking, like we just finished Avatar Book 2. What should we watch next? I'm like, have you no sense of OCD? Obviously, you have to watch the third season.
By the way, so these were the shows that were up there. The other shows were great shows. Don't get me wrong. I loved Fallout. I recently watched it. It was great. Ahsoka is fantastic. Ahsoka is easily one of my favorite characters in the Star Wars universe now, since the Clone Wars cartoons and now, the live action show, which is the one that was on the list. And the first season of Stranger Things, there isn't a better one. Like, there's a lot of great scenes in some of the later seasons of Stranger Things, but that first season was just so great for me. Like, it has so much nostalgia in it, and the acting, those kids were great.
Yeah.
And I'm a rebel. I like the side quest episode in season 2 with 11 that everyone hated. I love that episode.
The one with the other kids.
Yeah.
They were trying to get a pilot for a different show off the ground. I liked it too.
I like that one.
I liked it too. I thought they would have been a good show, but apparently, everything needs to be explosively, financially fantastic for them to do anything nowadays. But
yeah. Well, we need to know about where Will is going to college, but we don't need to know what's going on with 8. I'm like, come on. Come on, you guys. Anyway, tangent. You'll get there eventually in your watches.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a really good show too. But Avatar: Last Airbender is what we landed on, and that is what we're gonna watch.
Yes.
I'm very excited.
I'm glad you're watching season 3 after season 2.
Me too. I'm so glad for so many reasons, but one of them is now I get to, like, Crystal's gonna pre-watch season 3 before she watches season 2. She's not going to watch it live like we did with the show. Nope. So now I get to really hear her thoughts on things and see her reaction.
Half the time I'm like, shut up, I'm trying to watch.
Yeah.
Here, I'd have to watch it without sound too, so I would miss all the music. So I would immediately when we would get off, go rewatch that episode with sound. So I'm not doing that again.
A lovely job. Like similarly to how you talked about the Wheel of Time, Koala. Fallout has done a great job with, and Scout. They can't bring the exact narration and storytelling of the games into the show. So they've done it in a way that's been super respectful of the lore that they built while still adapting it to a different medium and hiding tiny little Easter eggs and story information and lore bits and references to things for people that love the lore and the game so much. And that side quest reference was fantastic. They reference in some of the later games where they're more open world survival crafty, like Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. They talk about like hoarding random items and scrap garbage because like you can end up carrying around 1,000 pencils in Fallout 4 and then convert those to wood to make things in your settlement. So like they reference that really well in that show as well. And all of the shows that were on there were great, but I might be biased, but Avatar is easily my favorite. And I said this before. I've said it a couple of times in episodes before, and I said it to you guys before we started the show tonight. If someone held a gun to my head and wanted me to choose something, like I had to never experience content from it again for the rest of my life, and they made me choose Avatar or The Wheel of Time, it would take me a second.
Like Sophie's choice. I don't know what I would pick.
I don't know what I would pick right now. I don't know what I would pick because like The Wheel of Time has meant so much to me for so long, and so much of my actual personal and now professional life is built around it. But Avatar is just like so good, and it's like I watch television shows and movies how a lot of people listen to music, in the sense of like, oh, I'm not feeling well today, like I'm depressed, or like, something's got me down. I'm going to put this show on and just leave it on in the background, where, some people may listen to an album or something like that. And Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of those shows for me. Like I have watched it so many times. Yeah. I mean, she knows me the best. So I think I might, but Avatar is just one of those shows that I'll just put on in the background. It's playing at least 2 or 3 times a week, just on autoplay constantly.
Right. Yeah. And that's like I listen to The Wheel of Time while I sleep. So I put it on 10-minute, timers, so that it does like go off. But I tend to wake, so I fall asleep listening to it.
The Pat and Fane chapter while you're in REM sleep, that may be
I know, right?
terrifying dreams.
I know. And then, I usually do wake up 4 or 5 times during the night, and so I wake up, and as I roll over, I just put it back on and I go, no, not familiar. I go back. Yep, that's where I fell asleep, another 10 minutes. And so I'm always, listening to the Wheel of Time.
Yeah. I put on Wheel of Time when I'm doing work in my garage or cutting my grass. That's because I can't watch a TV show when I do that. I don't just have headphones in my book. My phone. So that's when I put on Wheel of Time, but I put on I do it weird. I'll just put on random chapters. I'll throw random chapters from all the books.
Shuffle.
Yeah, into a playlist, and I'll just play those. Do My Wells is in there, and a bunch of chapters are in there, and I'll just play them.
That's hilarious.
Out of order, completely out of sequence. Yeah.
I tend to listen to podcasts by Wheel of Time content creators while I'm doing, because it takes me about 7 hours to mow all the areas that I mow. So I tend to listen to that, and then when I'm out koala spotting every day, and then when I'm gardening, I'm either listening to books or listening to podcasts. Yeah.
Oh man, Michael speaking as Loyal could put me to sleep. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I could, I want Michael to read children's books now to put me to sleep. And my mind immediately went to, I don't know if anyone has ever heard of the book that Samuel L. Jackson wrote. It's called Go the Fuck to Sleep.
It's amazing.
Pretty fantastic. I now
he does the audio book for it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I want Michael Kramer to read that as Loyal now, please. Thank you.
That'd be pretty. Oh, you know what? If they do the same charity they've done at WatCon, they offer that if you donate to this charity they give to that buys books for prisons, they'll read stuff for you. I had them read if there are any other fellow Trekkies out there, I had them read Ode to Spot.
Oh,
the poem that Data wrote for his cat Spot.
And that's where Tari at WatCon had them do a happy birthday wish for me. And she's terrible at secrets. And she kept that secret for the 3 months after WatCon until my birthday came around. And she released it to me. And it was it just killed me having Michael and Kate, do a birthday shout out to me. It was gorgeous.
They're fantastic people, and they're another group of people that just love coming in contact with the Wheel of Time community, the fan community, and giving of themselves, not just the books that they've read, and they have a great time with it. If anyone spent any time with them at WatCon the past couple of years, I know they shut down the convention. They were there until the wee hours of the morning hanging out with people. So, it's fantastic. There's a reason why that these people participate so much with our community, and I think Rafe said it best here. Hold on.
The Wheel of Time fandom is statistically the best fandom.
It's statistically the best.
And realistically.
It's true.
Statistically and realistically.
And that video, if anyone wants to watch the interview that we did live with Rafe, it's over on the Dragon Mountain YouTube's shameless plug. And that was
a great video.
And CEO / producer / magical unicorn Kathy Campbell, now CEO of Dragon Mountain.
I just remembered something from when you were talking before about Robert Jordan's language, and its use in the show. And something that I would love to get the time to do is to take some stills from the show and then in Robert Jordan style, just sit and describe the whole scene, because the detail in the scene setting and in the costuming is exactly the 5 pages of description that we got in the Wheel of Time. And I mean, it would be a really fun project to find sort of some of those chapters in the book, look at how Robert Jordan described it, and then show how it's all there, all the details there, but it's visual. And if you blink, that scene's gone by, and it seemed really fast because Robert Jordan spent so much time describing. But look at Paddon Fane's wagon in season 1, right? Yeah. Imagine just doing a whole description of Paddon Fane being there in the village green in Eamon's Field, with an image of it. And we only saw, how long did we see that wagon?
A couple of seconds.
Moments.
Yeah, exactly. But every single detail was there. So they have done a total Robert Jordan job of presenting the story to us in the show. We've just got to stop just watching everything so fast and going, oh, that was too quick.
I mean, like, they know, like, I feel like at least Rafe and Sarah knew that a lot of the fandom was going to be sitting there and pausing and dissecting and looking at the background and looking at everyone's clothes. But I don't think a lot of the Amazon folks really understood the Wheel of Time community getting into this. Like, I knew Rafe and Sarah knew. Like, I've known Sarah since the first Jordan Con. She was the first person I met at Jordan Con because she was her and her best friend Christy were working the registration table at the first, second, and I think the third one at Jordan Con, and they were literally the first 2 people that I ever met in the Wheel of Time fan community outside of the internet.
Wow!
And her being there, and then having the time that I've spent talking with Rafe there is like, we know it's going to be great. So I'm blown away with everything they've done, and I'm very happy with the way it's coming out.
And that's been a really fun thing about making these cards of time. It's kind of a funny thing when you do creative stuff, is that people see the end result, and if they've not done creative stuff before, they probably have no idea what goes into them, but so there's 34 cards in the general Cards of Time set this year. But do you know how long it took me to decide on the 34 character images?
There we go.
To put on those cards, right? Which is the best image of, pick any character. Like Egwene, for example. Do you show her victorious? Do you show her as a Damani? Do you show her in the White Tower? And so, I mean, I could spend an hour or 2 just collecting images, let alone making a choice between them. And that's where the Discord came in great. For some of them, I did get lots of feedback. I would just say to people, show me some images of, this character or that character that you think should be on the card, to sort of get a starting point. But all of our characters have got so much nuance to them as they go through their story arcs, that finding any one image that really shouts it can be really difficult. But I did it in the end. And not everyone will agree that it was always the best image to use of that person, but I did have to, in the end, decide on an image that is going to portray that character for that particular season. Yeah,
instantly recognizable. Also, there's so many good ones to choose from. Like,
exactly.
I mean, any image you pick, you're going to be leaving great ones on the table because there's no best one. There's so many good ones.
That's part of how the Matt deck happened. Is someone who were like, How many quotes do you have room for on this one Matt card? And there's
Actually-
something we forgot to mention. There's a different quote on every single card of the Matt deck.
Yeah.
And that was
So
all
there's
koala.
54 Matt quotes out of the show are on there. So 54 cards, and every card has got a different Matt quote. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The game looks a lot of fun, and I can't wait to play it. We'll definitely post pictures. I'm 100 like. I'm not going to say like I'm going to stay no matter what at WatCon this year, because if I get COVID again, I'm going to leave because I'm not giving anyone COVID.
Sure.
I'm not going to be that person.
Sure.
But barring a deadly disease, contracting a deadly disease, I'm staying at WatCon, and we will be playing this game for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm excited. I can't wait to play with, like, it's one thing, playing, at home with your friends that know the game, but playing it at a convention like this and then doing the added trading card aspect of it is going to be a lot of fun. And remind me also to not only to send you the pictures, which I do have a note for, but I need to write it on a Post-it or I'll forget. I have a fun idea for something that we could do at WatCon with the game as well. I have ideas.
Great. I'm all for it, and I know Scout will be too, because this is actually so Scout and I had never met before WatCon, and we definitely bonded over the cards and game playing. We spent so many hours playing the card games together, and it's become this lovely little project and friendship over the years. So it's been, I would never have dreamed that out of making those cards last year, I would have ended up just with so many ripples, that have spread out from that. It's been just amazing.
That's the thing about this community. It touches in so many different avenues of life. Like, you'll deal with people. Scout, actually, you mentioned before, and I forgot to ask, that you were studying for your PhD, and you what do you have a PhD in?
Theater and performance studies with a focus in geek theater is what I wrote my dissertation on. And I'm hoping to get that published at one point. That said, I'm actually working. There's no money in this because it's a scholarly press. But I'm working on a book contract for a book on Wheel of Time, on reading transness in Wheel of Time. And anyone out there who's trans or non-binary or queer in any way, or also I'm interested in people who are in the Therian, Otherkin, or furry communities, contact me. I want to talk to you. Wow. And you can go by aliases if you don't want to go by your real name in my book. That's fine too.
How would they contact you if they wanted to contact you?
Oh, that's a good question. So on Discord, here, let me get in the chat here. In Discord, my name is oh no, I haven't connected my YouTube account.
Oh no! And if you do it now, it'll kick you out. So I'll
here we go.
Okay, so
it's Hobbit Scald. It's Hobbit spelled like Hobbit, and then SKALD.
I put it in there for you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's me. So contact me on Discord if you would be interested. So I'm it is specifically on trans and non-binary readings, but I'm trying to talk to as many people with queer perspectives as possible. And I do have some stuff on parents. So if anyone is a member of the Therian, Otherkin, or furry communities and would like to talk about that perspective, I'd love to talk to you as well.
And I have that posted.
So, yeah, it's good. It'll be good times.
And we'll make sure to include that when we post when we repost things too. I'm always interested in the different demographics that read the Wheel of Time and what they get from it. But real fast, we need a shout out to this lovely human, Lauren, from Unraveling the Pattern. Hi. And since we're nearing our wrap-up time here, it's a perfect time to shout out another person, because they're going to be our guest for the first and second episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender Book 3. And that's our good friend Reverse BLT.
Nice.
So he's going to be doing our our guest in episode 1 for or episode 1 and 2, which is The Awakening and the Headband for Avatar. And yeah, a little spoiler alert there, Crystal. Aang has hair in the first 5 minutes or so. Of the first
Yeah,
episode.
it's weird. It's even weirder than when Teal'c has hair in SG-1.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Oh my god. It is weird when he has hair. It's weird seeing him with hair as the voice, like when because he does the voice of Kratos for the God of War. And seeing when he does like appearances with him with hair, it's like a weird it's like seeing if you have like a parent that has facial hair and then they shave it off after years of having it. It's like when my dad shaved his mustache, I was like, whoa, who are you?
Like when Jason Momoa shaved in Dune, that was weird too.
Yeah, that was weird.
or if you shave, Tom.
Oh my god, I'll never do it again unless they make me. They made me shave when I had neck surgery. I had to get fusion in my neck.
You would have had to. Yeah.
Made me shave it. Because they apparently, by the way, for anyone who needs to get neck vertebrae fused, they go in through the front. Didn't know that before I did that.
Nope.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience, and I was like, "Can I just like tape it up? Because this is like years of growth." Like, no,
would you like to die of an infection afterwards?
No.
No, thanks.
Let's just shave it off.
But yeah, we're looking forward to hanging out with Reverse BLT, and I already have responses from a lot of other fun people and a couple of surprises maybe for future guests. But you know how we do that. We don't announce until that week. So we won't know until that week what the next episode guest is going to be. So, you know, you have to come and watch to find out. So before we, there we go. And you see now, but you had yours a while ago because your beard is much more wizardly than mine. It's longer. I'm almost there. And the grays are starting to come in. I'm excited.
Every gray is one step closer to wizardry.
Yeah, I'm excited. I want the whole thing to go gray because then I can cosplay as Odin much easier / Santa Claus. I'm very excited for that. I'm going to be the weirdo that like hangs out outside during the holidays in December and tell children of the stories of Odin as Santa Claus. Like that's who I want to be. It's how I want to be known in my neighborhood.
I love it.
And not having to put white powder in my beard to make it white is just exciting for me.
And so, Tom, can I ask you, you're going to be keeping that backpack offer open for a little while yet after the show?
It's going to stay open for at least another couple of hours. So I think I'll share.
So we need to get that out on social media.
Yep. I have the post opened up. I posted it in the Discord. It's out on the Dragon Mount social medias right now. And I will post a link directly to that post in just a second right here.
Aaron, you could always send them to me.
Oh yeah, that's true. But there's the link to the post on Twitter. There's also a post up on Facebook, which I'll get in there in a second as well. If you back between now and I think she put midnight on there, you'll have an entry to win. And if you've already backed, you already are in to win. But if you back again, twice the chances, and it's a smaller pool for that second one. So if you want to be entered in again, just feel free to throw in a donation just to, you know, support the project, a couple extra bucks for the on that top most backing option on the Kickstarter, which I'll also post a link to if I haven't flooded the chat enough with links, but they're there. They come up on the Facebook comments, so I like to make sure that they go in there for people to find. This has been so much fun. So other than like this direct Kickstarter, I mean, if you're doing are you doing another show? Where are you doing anything in the coming future? Where can people see your faces again or hear your lovely voices again? Or do we just have to catch you guys at WatCon?
So I'll be guesting tomorrow on the Black Tower podcast.
Yay!
Ooh. On I think that Lauren will be, if he's still here, will be happy for me to announce that we're doing a special live stream on Unraveling the Pattern on the weekend. So that will be Saturday. I'm in the future, so I have to like really kind of think. So it always means everything I do with people and we give dates, I have to add a day onto it, so it's not just the time difference.
We
so
do feel bad
Lauren,
for all of the EU and Aussie people that like have to deal with like I know the majority of the Wheel of Time fan community is based in the US, but like everyone has to kind of like adapt to the pretty much the Eastern US time zone, and I do feel bad that they're about that often. But I do appreciate
round worlds are hard.
Hey, if I had to do that, it would be miserable because but like I said, like my dyslexia / dyscalculia, I'd be a mess.
Yeah. So yeah, Lauren has come up with this amazing idea of we're actually throwing some samples of the cards into a online game player, and we're going to give people a little taste of the game by having us on a live stream playing a version of the game so that people can see what it's actually like as it plays out. So we've literally just been discussing and organising that this morning, and I haven't even caught Scout up on all of it. So Scout's going,
like
really?
And I'm super jealous because I had plans that day and can't come.
I know. It's so sad
to hear about it.
So I'm part of a podcast with Lauren and Alyssa and Rob Christensen from Weekly Wheel News called They Might Be Dark Friends. And so we're jumping on to Lauren's Unraveling the Pattern channel and doing that, and a couple of other guest people playing with us. And then the next day I'm on the Way of the Leaf. So you're going to kind of see my face plastered around a little bit at the moment. But yeah, apart from that, once this is all over, They Might Be Dark Friends podcast I'm on, but we record irregularly because, we might be dark friends. So we're not on a really big thing. And I think the others won't mind if I just say there is another podcast coming. That's probably all I'm allowed to say.
Very cryptic
at this point.
Perfect in the vein of the Dark Friends.
It will not be a Dark Friends. There might be a whole other podcast coming that I'm working on with some people, and we have started recording some episodes, and more will be revealed in time. But yes, with some very fun people out of it. And I don't know anybody in the fandom that's not fun, but with some very fun people in the fandom for a different Wheel of Time podcast.
Okay. I'd say you'd be hard pressed to find some not cool people, but that's not to say that there aren't. There are douches in every community, but at like Rafe said, statistically, like we are the best, and having been involved in it for so long, I can definitely say, and having gone to so many conventions where I've interacted with like the Star Wars community and even the Star Trek community and things like that. The Wheel of Time has been generally the most welcoming and like the most
it's amazing.
I don't know, like it just everyone instantly feels like it feels like you're coming home when you when you go to any kind of Wheel of Time gathering, and it's great.
I hate to say again that I'm probably one of the older members in the community, but I say it because when I went to WhatCon last year, it was the first time I have ever felt that kind of feeling of coming home. Right? And there I was with people from, people as old as some of my grandchildren up to people in my age group, and it makes no difference.
Nope.
It makes no difference, right?
And
you just
all walks of life too.
It's amazing. And we got another backer.
Oh yay! That's fun.
Yeah.
We crossed, and it just crossed, and I'll get an image up here in a second. We just crossed $6,000. It's currently at $6,069. Nice.
Nice.
And that's in US dollars. So let me tell you, it sounds even more impressive in my money, in Australian dollars, because our dollars are worth so little. It is now $9,197
Ooh.
Australian. Yeah, yeah.
What's the Australian currency called?
Australian dollars.
It's just Australian dollars. Okay. Well, like
Well,
some
we just call it money.
yeah. The Canadians have their currencies, the loonie. So I didn't know if other countries had.
Yeah. No, it's just called dollars. Yeah, Australian dollars.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's an interesting conversion rate, though. I got to go to Australia now.
Yeah, I think it's 0.65 or something. Yeah.
Yay! All right.
Yeah.
Well, so the window to get in, if you haven't already backed, or if you want to back again, you could just donate to the cause with that.
Yep.
With that top.
You can donate through that donate button that's at the top there, or you can go into change your backing tier, and you can just add some donation on, or you can add one of the items onto what you're already getting. So if you increase, that's it. That's the making a pledge without a reward. So if you haven't backed and you just want to donate, that's the best way to do it. If you have already backed, I don't think you'll be able to use that. I think that you would have to go in and then you can just donate by throwing an extra couple of dollars onto one of your tiers, or add another add-on on, and I will make sure that Tom get all of those people, and he can throw it into however he does the randomizer. And
we'll have a wheel. It'll be a wheel. It'll be fun.
It'll be a wheel. Of course, it'll be a wheel.
It comes back to the wheel. It all comes back to the wheel. Come on.
Isn't there also an extra a bonus surprise for whoever ends up donating the most, not just tonight, but in general?
That's a really good point. You tell us about that one, Scout.
Oh no, you're the one who knows most about it. You tell whatever should be known.
Yeah,
you're the card master.
So whoever donates the most will, whether they've done it as a backer who didn't want, who wasn't backing a tier, whoever donates the most will actually receive a thank you gift.
Yay, that's fun. I love doing participating in these projects. There's always so much, because you could tell the amount of love that goes into it with the amount of attention that the creators put into it. It's so great. I'm so excited to see the new season at WatCon. And Crystal, I don't remember. Are you coming to WatCon?
I can't this year. It's on my plans for next year. I know.
think Ebony and or Kitty might be trying to come too. We'll find out. I have booked my flight and my hotel. I'll be there for sure. And already started working on panels. But I don't think we're allowed to talk about what they are yet. So
I'm sure we're not allowed to. Yeah.
So thank you guys for coming and hanging out. And if Scout, you've seen Avatar, right? Yeah, Yes.
Yeah. I haven't finished Korra yet, although someone told me the last moment of Korra, and I swear if they had reached into my heart, they could have written it better for me.
It was really good. I hate that's unless were you okay with the spoiler or?
Well, I actually heard the spoiler before I had started watching it, so it was unrelated to me watching it. Okay. But I won't tell here in case I haven't actually finished the series yet, though. I've been working on it.
Fair enough. I mean, I love Korra as well. It just is a different. It's
a different vibe.
Yeah, vibe is the best word. Like where Avatar is much more upbeat. Korra is a little bit more gritty or realistic in some ways, but the show evolved. The way the writers did it was supposed to age with the original age group that watched Avatar. So when Korra released, that age group would have been
teenagers, I assume.
Teens. Yeah, like mid to late teens. So that's kind of where those characters are and what the theming is, and it's also a different world. It's progressed. It's like 1920s-esque. era steampunk Avatar 1920s. There's like street gangs and they talk like this here, see? So
The world building from Avatar to Korra is fascinating. I do think as upbeat as Avatar is, the serious things it handles, it had a better handle on than Korra does ambitious things. And I love that it tries. It doesn't ultimately handle the things it tries to tackle deeply. And I wish that it's so interesting what they try to take on, though, and respect for that.
Yeah, I haven't read.
I've not read the
books.
Kyoshi
I've read
books.
some of the
I'll
Kyoshi
look
books.
that up.
But yeah, the comics are fantastic, and I'm
good.
very excited for the new stuff that's going to be coming out from the original creators and the original studios. Nickelodeon gave them their own studio, their own budget, and they just said go to town. And now they're making a new series, new standalone movies for the animated series, and I'm very excited for that. It's not to say that the live action wasn't great, but it just doesn't have the heart that the original animated series did. But
Verse
we will be
BLT,
watching it next week. So
even though it was spoiled, it gave me something to look forward to. I'm looking forward to it.
You should, because the way they tell the story, like no one can do it justice without actually seeing it. So like, even though you know what's going to happen, just like going back and rereading the Wheel of Time again, you don't get that same feeling unless you experience it.
If there are moments of teen drama in Korra that at my age make me tired, so I'm glad to have this to look forward to.
Very true. Very true. There are a couple of times where it's like, was this produced by the WB or like? But anyway, just to remind everybody, next week, episode 1 and 2, The Awakening and the Headband of At Last Airbender Book 3 will be.
Is the hair short-lived? Is it
very short-lived? Very short-lived.
Okay. Good.
We will be hanging out with Reverse BLT, who's hanging out in chat right now. Go and check his content out. I will throw a link into that before we leave. And make sure to go and get your WatCon tickets. And if you're not able to go, I believe they're going to be
we're preparing the Discord for WatCon right now. Okay. And we've been starting to discuss some of the things that we'll be doing for virtual, stuff. So if you can't go to WatCon, I cannot recommend the virtual ticket more because Tari and I did the virtual ticket the first year and that was it. I had never left Australia until last year. When we came over to WatCon, that was I had to go and get a passport for the first time in my life.
Wow!
Well,
to come
real quick for someone who's traveled with games that involve large decks of cards. If you're planning on traveling with them,
no, I'm not.
Okay, I was about to say.
I'm not.
Because the TSA does not like them. For those who don't put them in your checked bag, put them in your carry-on, and be prepared to get searched because they will search you. For whatever reason, the TSA in the US does not like large quantities of playing cards next to each other.
Right. Tell them the funny pricing story when we were shopping Tell them the funny pricing story.
Oh boy.
How this happened.
Would you believe we spent months trying to figure out the best printing price. Months.
Oh, I'm sure.
And it turned out it is cheaper for me to get them printed here in Australia at the printer that I've used for many other projects on recycled paper and then posted to the US. So even adding on the price of the postage to get this huge box of all of this stuff over there turned out to be cheaper than trying to get them printed in the US. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I actually got approached after the Kickstarter went live. I haven't told Scout this one by a printing company in China saying, we'll do you a really good deal on printing the cards. And I said, great, have you got a website where I can log on and work all my prices out? No. Here, fill out this order form. And I'm like, no. And that was one of the hardest things was the printer I use here in Australia. They have a website and you go on and you choose what type of product you want to print, what you want it printed on, and you fill out, it's complex. Like you go through all the different options. Do you want a box, and do you want the corners rounded, and how many cards are there, and how many sets are you printing, and where are you posting them to? And ting, it gives you the price. And this person in China says, oh, yeah, but that's not always very, very reliable and accurate. And I said, well, it is for my printer.
Yeah.
Because I fill it out online and I go, yes, please, I'll have that. And they supply it at whatever that price was. So, I just thanked them and said, no, it's okay.
Like,
we've got that sorted.
The next stage of the Nigerian prince scam is now fake factories.
They were possibly, like real, because they were approaching through the Kickstarter, and they obviously approach people through there. But it was like, if I can't just sit and keep fiddling, because that's how we worked our prices out, was we had to go, what if we get to print this many sets? What will it cost per set? Okay, well, what if we only get to print this many? And so then we had to work out, okay, well, this is the price we can go with, because we think this is like the minimum we would be able to sell. But I can't go backwards and forwards by email to a company going, oh, what if we just change it this little bit? Whereas I could just keep changing it on that website.
On the website,
and then we've got spreadsheets, as you might imagine, and then I would be spreadsheeting the results I was getting so that I could remember them to compare them. But we also found that with a lot of the American places, like Wolf Brothers, he walked into stores trying to get quotes for me from places that were right there in Ohio, so that we wouldn't even have to pay any postage. You know what I mean? They could print them. Wolf Brother would pick them up for me, and that was still going to be more expensive than me printing them here and posting it. So it's just like, do you know what? They printed my Cards of Time last year. I know exactly the quality I'm going to get.
And it's cheaper.
This is it. We're just we've got to stop looking and just get on with the rest of it. And so it was amazing.
That's just crazy. Amazing. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's so crazy.
Yeah. So brought to you by the Madlands.
Yep. That's fair. That's perfect. That's a perfect capstone to that.
True.
All right. Well, thank you for hanging out with us. And if you guys, if you want to join in for one of the Avatar episodes, let me know. I'll send you a link after this so that you can look at the dates and stuff. And Koala, if you happen to watch it before, like, we're going to be watching this through July, so you got time. So if you happen to watch it and want to pop in on a later episode, let us know.
Well, Rapunzel is telling me that she's going to get me in and watch it with me. So
Is the beach episode in season 3? Is the beach episode in season 3?
Actually, right now the only episode that's taken that I know of off the top of my head is the first one, but I do have about 9 emails to check before tonight. But
the beach episode is one of my favorite episodes in the whole series.
Okay.
So I didn't mean to cut you off, Koala. I was just like,
all yours.
Is it season 3?
Or if someone wants to switch, it's all yours.
Sounds great. And thank you so much for having us. This has been just so much fun. And I do just want to say I'm so sorry that, Crystal, you didn't get many words in.
That's
so
fine.
I'll just apologize for that.
She's been fantastic. She's such a huge help to me because she's a teacher and she deals with people that have my brain nonsense regularly. So dealing with my tangents / information dumps come naturally to her.
Yeah, you guys picked a good night. I'm kind of losing my voice tonight anyway, so.
Yeah. So the good thing about the next couple of weeks for Crystal is, she's a teacher. So like the last 2 weeks have been really busy for her, but now going forward, she'll have a lot of time, and we have a lot of projects planned that we're going to be talking about.
Yes. It's your brain nonsense, Tom.
My brain. I mean, that's the best way to describe it. All right. Well, I love all of you awesome nerds. Thanks for hanging out. And don't forget, if there are people in chat right now that haven't backed the Kickstarter already, even if you back it for $1 in that option, you can have a chance to win the backpack, which I'll post again right here. It is a Memory of Light backpack that was given out during the Memory of Light book tour, and that's the only time you could pick it up. And Tor was gracious enough to send us a bunch of them, and we're going to be giving away a couple to people that back. So yeah, if you want it, go and back this fantastic project. And
Reverse.
that,
hold on. I'm going to get like a button or a flag or something so that you guys have to let me talk next week. The two of you are.
You can mute us. Don't forget. You could just mute us.
Ooh, yes.
Ooh, you have the power.
Perfectly fine. Like if I just suddenly am muted and you start talking, I'll be like, I deserve that. I deserve that. I won't get mad. All right. I love all of you people. Thank you for coming and hanging out. And say goodnight, Crystal.
Good night, Crystal.